Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Now for something completely different. After this, I might take a little rest. I just felt like telling a little bit of a rambly story that led to a minor insight having to do with the four Keirseyan groups' attitudes to something. Just because, I don't know, I got plenty more to say about the themes already raised in my previous segments going into the future. And but I just felt like doing something a little different. But before that, I want to say thank you to all these subscribers. Wow, it's really nice to know that people want to hear what I have to say and some want to interact too. The comments have been a real privilege to read. So thank you for those too. It's just great. It just means a lot to me. I love doing this and I love having these conversations with you guys. So it's wonderful. When I started that, junket of research a couple of months ago that I made mention of in a previous video, my first foray into MBTI research via YouTube, I was in a pretty bad place. I was feeling very bad. I'd been very down for a while, and I was having a bit of a crisis related to sort of work, and maybe I'll go into that a little more at another time. But I felt like I had made I felt like I was feeling the results of having made a wrong turn in work and having chosen some work that was really not suited to me at all a long time ago, and it had sort of caught up to me. It had become a real strain because it was going against my grain so much. And so at this time, I began the YouTube online research. My first channel that I was spending so much time watching things from was the wonderful, wonderful series NF Geeks with Dr. Mike. Started about 6 years ago. I think there's something like 360-ish episodes that were made in this little talk show started by an INFJ guy called Dave and Mike Boudria, who's a humanities professor and MBTI certified practitioner now, and someone very, 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 very interested in the Myers-Briggs temperament indicator, like you guys are, and like I am, nerding out over here day after day. I can't get enough of that. Seriously. So back then, it really coming in contact with NF Geeks with Dr. Mike. That really, really helped me because it was so wonderful to see all these people, these real people talking about their real experiences of what it's like to be NF in various forms. And it was real, I don't know, it was just really nourishing for me, and especially at that time. And since I was enjoying that so much, I kind of got this idea to it kind of made me, it prompted me to sort of think of like why I was having such a hard time in my work environment, which took me quite often into the corporate world where I really don't feel like I belong. And I understand, probably the majority of people in there don't feel like they belong either. But I mean, like really, like really. And it caught up to me. And I was thinking of these, all this stuff on NF Geeks, people talking about their difficulties in the larger world, being NFs out there. And I just really related to it. And it was inspiring to me to hear everybody's stories and what they were dealing with. And it occurred to me maybe I would like to make a kind of weekly gazette to send around to all of my many NF friends. And it would be called NF Moments. And NF Moments would be just tiny little anecdotes of things that were kind of coming up for me that I was recalling, where there was something that kind of got, that affected me emotionally as an NF person that I felt like probably most people of the other types wouldn't be able to relate to at all. They wouldn't notice, or they wouldn't, things that I felt that other NF people would understand the significance of or the emotional import of immediately, whereas most of the SPs and NTs and SJs would just be like, what is your problem? You know, like, what? I don't even know what you're talking. Like, I don't even know why this is a thing. And I did indeed write out some of those stories and send them around a bit, but I abandoned it pretty quickly because I was still feeling pretty blue, and I realized that I could then see this once I started doing it, that all my NF moments, almost all my NF moments in that frame of mind anyway, when it was still winter and awful, you know, now I've got like the bathing suit top on. It's like it's a fun weekend, so I feel like I can discuss these things openly now. But yeah, it was. I felt like the NF people would really relate to these, but I abandoned it because I realized quite quickly that these NF moments, these moments that I felt so confident that, as described, would get a real like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about from the other NFs, and I realized pretty much all of them were going to be huge bummers, like just huge bummers. So here, let me share one of those bummers with you. You know, I know you're dying to hear one. One of them was, I realized that, for one thing, and I just know that all the NF, I don't know about the other types, but I know all the NFs are going to get this. Every single time I have walked past somebody in the street panhandling in my entire life, it's been a thing. Now, does that mean that I'm this wonderful person who is just out of the, you know, is just full of the milk of human kindness compared to the other types, and that I do that, you know, I do my best to make everything better all the time? No, I don't. I know, I really don't. In fact, I don't think I behave in terms of giving that way to people in the street. I don't think I do it more than a lot of other people, and I'm sure I do it less than some people. Most of the time, I won't talk to the person, and I won't give them something. And sometimes I do. But here's the NF moment part of it. Every single time I have, though, it has begun. I've been very aware of that person. And I'm very aware of their presence and their situation. And it begins this sort of dialogue, this very, very intense kind of, you know, judiciary process inside me of like, what's the right thing to do? And do I want to do it? And should I do it? And, you know, my idealism is called upon, and it's engaged. You know, now does it mean that I do anything nice? No, not necessarily. But like, I'm really thinking about it. And in fact, whether I give money or not, I tend to be still thinking about it. If I did give any money, I think, oh, did I give enough? I don't know. You know, I'm sort of weighing all these things out to try and decide what the right thing was to do. And I'm still thinking about it. Like the person has probably, who I'm thinking about, has, if they even notice me, they're really their attention's moved right along, but I'm still thinking about it. And why? I don't know, but I just can't help it. That's just what happens. Anyway, so out of that NF moment, it made me sort of think about how to maybe quickly and really broadly, of course, this is also very reductive, but to sort of encapsulate what I imagine would be the other Keirseyan types' attitudes to such situations in general. And I thought, I think it's the case that if you were sort of to make it into aphorisms, these attitudes, to distill them into aphorisms, it would be, you know, the SP artisans, they want to give to their friends. The idealists, the NF idealists, we want to give to whoever will be unhappy without the thing that is being given. The SJ people, they want to give to the deserving. And the rationals, the NT people, they're thinking, what people? I didn't even notice those people. I was busy working out my advanced trig problem as I was, you know, walking out of the subway station. So Hey, NTs, I hope you can take the ribbing. I happen to know, just I got a postscript there because that was a little mean or a little, maybe there's some NTs are like, excuse me. And I'll end it by saying that the NTs I know, there's some NTs I know who actually do some, really terrific activism, and they do some really terrific giving of themselves to make things better. And it's just that what's interesting with them is they're like the ones I know. I'm thinking of an INTJ that I knew a long time ago. I was very, very fond of. And I'm thinking about Bobby. And, Bobby told me that even though he's a very, very, very much an INTJ and does not like group work and is very drained by interaction with people, even people he really, really likes. And I found that curious that he had joined his high school Amnesty International group, and in fact had been the president of the group for a while. And I was like, really? I was like, wow. I did not see him doing something like that. And he informed me. He was just like, well, again, he was doing it for. I'm sure that group was overrepresented with a lot of NFs in it. And I'm pretty sure a lot of those NFs, if I understand my own kind, I think a lot of those NFs were being sort of called by their feelings, as married to their value systems. And so was Bobby's, the INTJ. It was his value system. But it was interesting, his sort of route into doing it. I asked him about the experience. He was like, oh, yeah, I hated it. I hated doing it, of course. But, I arrived at that was the rational thing to do. The rational thing to do was to support that cause. So that was what was driving him, was the inescapable kind of rational reasons for pitching in on something like that. And I heard a similar thing from my vegetarian ex, an INTP ex, who, over the course of a weekend while working on a philosophy assignment, had a huge revelation that there was just no justifiable reason to eat animals and to do that. And, by Monday, he was a vegetarian. And that has been the case for the last 20 years. So there you go. That's some little comments about and little stories about people, different kinds of members of different types' attitude to idealistic matters. Anyhow, that's it. I'll be back in a couple of days, and we'll continue on with something that's related to typing for sure. There's just so much interesting stuff to do on that. So till then, be well, everybody, and thanks for joining me. Goodbye.